The first way we can leverage AI as IT professionals is to train our own AI models. This is generally the most difficult of the three approaches to leveraging AI in your business. In addition, it currently requires quite a bit of knowledge of data science and machine learning. However, as we develop more user-friendly tools, it will become much easier and more accessible to all IT professionals. There are three main approaches to training AI models: training via dataset, training via simulation, and training via demonstration. First, we can train AI models using our own data in the form of a training dataset. This approach is often used for supervised machine learning, which we saw earlier. All of the machine learning and deep learning examples that we saw in the previous module fall into this category. This approach involves tasks like collecting, cleaning, organizing, and labeling our data for training. In addition, it also involves tasks like training, selecting, verifying, and deploying our models into production. This is currently the most common of the three approaches to training AI models, but it is also one of the more difficult approaches. However, it's becoming easier every day with more powerful and user-friendly tools like TensorFlow with Keras and AutoML. Second, we can train AI models using a computer simulation. This approach is often used for reinforcement learning. We train the agent in a computer simulation, which acts as a virtual sandbox for the real-world environment. Then, we fine-tune the agent's behavior in a safe, real-world environment to iron out any training issues. Finally, we deploy the agent into the real world while we monitor its behavior and collect new data to further improve the model. All of the reinforcement learning examples we've seen so far fall into this category as well. This approach is currently less common, but is becoming more common for solving complex, multi-step problems. Unfortunately, this is typically the most difficult of the three methods of training AI models. Finally, we can train AI models by demonstration. With this approach, we physically show the agents how to perform the task we want completed. The agent observes the environment and the set of actions that we chose to get to the goal state. Then, the agent learns to replicate our behaviors, compensating for variations and deviations with each new instance of the task. For example, we have collaborative robots or cobots, which learn to complete tasks by manual instruction rather than explicit programming. This approach requires no programming or machine learning skills. All of that work has already been completed by someone else. Instead, this method is designed specifically for non-technical end users. It's currently the least common approach, but will likely become very popular as we develop better training tools and techniques. All three of these approaches have various pros and cons. In addition, one approach may work well for solving certain problems, but not at all for other problems. So it's important to understand each of the three approaches and use the approach that makes the most sense for each situation.